Hello everyone, Proj here. I'm making this short video on how to use the add-ons that I and WK have made together. This one is an add-on that I made myself. Its purpose is mainly for quick cleanup of the mesh. It just runs all the options that already exist inside Blender in one button, that's all. It's really helpful when you're importing models from outside or you have needed to do some quick cleanup on the meshes without going through all the hurdles and maybe forgetting something. And this one is a Medieval-2 toolkit that we made with WK. It has both unit export, import, quality of life, like weight transfer stuff, as well as settlements, which is still in work in progress, so I won't go into that in detail. I will probably make a newer video once that is finished. So the way to download this is you go to releases. Let's go to releases both. And when you scroll down, you can see here, this is a zip file. And here as well, it's a zip file. All you have to do is install this. Download it, and I've already downloaded one. As you can see here, all you have to do is drag it over. And it's going to ask you to install in disk. If you already have the add-on and you're updating it, it's better if you restart Discord, restart Blender, so the changes will take effect. And if you want to, if that screen doesn't appear for you and you want to do it manually, all you have to do is go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and then install from disk. So you just point to the zip file and it should install from disk. Okay, now firstly, let's start off with my quality of life tool. The way to open this is if you press the arrow key or you press N. Okay, quick mesh cleanup. What it basically does is, like I said, it moves all the various buttons in all the different menus into one single ones, like ones that I really use often. So one is merge by distance. If I had to do it manually, I had to go mesh, merge, and then by distance. And then there's reset vectors, recalculate normals. It's in normals, reset vectors, recalculate outside. Then there's flip if you want to do it manually. And then there's the delete loose geometry, convert tries to quads, and everything. And there's also different options, like let's say I want to make every single object have their origin at the geometry, at the 3D cursor, or all. And if I want the shading to be flat shading, smooth shading, or auto smooth, and if I want to apply transformations or apply modifiers before cleanup, this is off by default. There's also a decimate ratio. And then there's a frame cleaned objects after cleanup. So it just runs all these tools one after another. Let's say I have this guy here. I duplicate it many times. So that means there's a lot of multiple vertices here. Like you can't really see there's multiple vertices, but you can check here. There's like 1000 despite being at 270. So you can see the count. I run the cleanup. It merges everything together. So it's only the main 275 vertices left now. So, and let's say I have this wood that's completely flipped. That's facing the wrong direction. Oh, you can turn this on in this setting here. In this drop down, show overlays and face orientation, and the way to show this one is show statistics. And red means it's facing inward in the opposite direction, so it'll appear invisible in game, or it'll only be viewable from the other side. And let's say in this one I have multiple, like from random faces not facing the right direction. I flip it, and you can see here it's not facing the right direction. I can select everything, and I have a shortcut key to Control-Alt-Q, Control-Alt-Q, and it'll run all the cleanup automatically. Done. So see how to frame the objects after cleanup too. See, it fixed all of that. Now, this is pretty much it for my quick cleanup. And you can also save the prefixes as you want, presets, and then load it on and when you press custom, or loads the custom preset. Okay, now let's move on to the main section, which is the Medieval-2 toolkit. You can see here, if you scroll down below in the menu, you can find it here. So firstly, let's look at the unit import. What you have to do at the beginning is point to the Med2 root path, the path where your Med2 Medieval 2 is located. And then you have to point to the idle leads path. You can place it down here manually, or you can just browse it to the folder that you need to be. It should be the folder where the idle.exe resides. It's better if you have the latest version, as the latest version supports the GLB format, while the old one did Collada DAE. And now you can also put the output folder where you want the files to be outputted. This will be where all the converted GLB files and the textures will be located. This is all done by the bulk extractor of idle.e, and big thanks to Wild Dog and Makinene for helping us out in incorporating this into the mod. So once you have the Medieval 2 root path there, you can already see the mods that are inside the Medieval 2 path. And if it doesn't appear, you can just press the refresh button. And the first step would be to press the read mod data. It then parses all the BMDB and edu and all to find all the unit factions and stuff. Now, after that, there's a few different options here in the edu section. You can look at the faction that you want to import from, the era that you want to edit, or you want ownership of all units available in this era and so on, the unit that you want to import, and the skeleton which you want to import as, because like range units have a primary and a secondary skeleton. The secondary is usually the melee skeleton. If it's a melee unit, then the primary is a melee skeleton. And you can see here which upgrade levels you want to check. You can check like 0 and 1, or just a 0 or just 1, or both of them. And when you import the unit, it will import the circuit upgrade paths. You can also import just the officers, or you can import the full unit. I have imported the Falathim Axemen here, and it'll import it right here like this. This will be the first model, and then the upgraded and the officers will be behind them. And yeah, like you can see here, lots of models have the faces in the wrong direction, like this guy, and you can just do Control-Alt-Q of my add-on and fix it easily. This helmet, and this helmet, and so on. And another option here is if we import faction, we can import the entire faction at once. Don't worry, when you press this, the Blender will go not responding mode for a couple of minutes, depending on a PC. For me, it took about 4 to 5 minutes. But when the run ends, it should import the entire faction like this at once. And it should also import the beast units and siege units with their crew, if they do have ownership of that. Okay. After that, we can also select the imported mods that we have here, and you can also delete the models as we want. Like we have the Falathim Axemen. This guy is called Falathim Axemen. Falathim Axis. Remove him, and he gets deleted from the import. And we can also import based on the BMDB entry, based on how many BMDB models that we have, and you can just select the one that you want. And when you press you can also select the texture variant that you want, and it will mention which ones is the same as this one. Like we have Addon and all of the rest, it's the same texture. You can check it using the Gondor, I think. Territorial, I think it was Gondor, yeah. Gondor Archers. They should have a different model for Addon. It looks like they don't. But if you do have a different one, it should not say like same as this. And then you can import the model and also press open model folder to see where the mesh is located. The mesh is located right here. Okay, now, before I move on to unit export, I'll just explain about the quality of life stuff. I'm going to use the same model that I previously had. Now what we have here is basically, before I do the transfer ways, I'll explain the armature stuff. We have the various skeletons here. with built-in animations. This guy is a spear unit, so we can just do parent to rig with sample weights. So if you rig with sample weights, what it does is I basically have a sample mesh that already is entirely rigged, and it transfers the weights from that rig to the main model. So now you can see it's fully rigged. And you can also see that sometimes it doesn't really do it well, but it for like the weapons and shields, but for most of the stuff like the armor, the uh, the legs and stuff, it should be pretty much good to go. Like it should like with minimal effort, with minimal editing. And if you will want to fix those stuff as well, you can do, instead of rig with sample weights, you can rig with full setup, samples plus equipment. What this does is then it doesn't remove the model that we deleted. Before in the second option, this model got deleted. Now it doesn't. So you can also transfer weights manually with this method. So here's a sample sword. I can just select the spear and the sword. What it basically does is that it transfers from the active selection, which is the yellow, towards the passive selection, which is the orange. Transfers from the active to passive. Transfer weights. And now we can see that the sphere no longer has that weird thing going on. And we can also do the same with the shield. This would be in the active selection. Transfer weights. And yeah, shield is also fixed. You can also put this, you can do this with really any button. You can right click and do add to quick favorites. So you can press Q. If you press Q, it'll list of all the favorite buttons will appear, and I just have it here, transfer weights. So it's easier for me to do it, so I use it very often. And with this, we can then remove the sample, or you can work off of it if you want as well. And there's also another really cool feature about this is that we can see here that our spear has a melee skeleton, which has the naming convention of capital letters, capital L, capital R. So let's say we want this guy to become an archer unit. If you were to do it manually, you would have to rename all these bones to have the lowercase l and t, L, T, and R. But what my tool does, it automates that process. So I can just select this. I can make it go an archer. This time it already has the weight, so I can just do a parent to skeleton, and now it's an archer unit. Oh, looks like I fixed this guy and what about this guy? I can do it easily too. Like this is the active selection, it's passive. And one thing about transfer weights is never do it mid animation, because it transfers the weights while it's in this animation mode, so it will look janky. So always do it in rest position. I can do transfer weights, and oh, there's another one. Transfer weights, and how many sheets does this guy have? Okay, this is the last one then. Transfer weights. Yep. See, it's all transferred now. And now, after this, you can also do it manually by pressing this, selecting the armature and renaming the bones from lowercase to capital. Now, you can then delete the armature and parent it to the one that you want. And what you can also do is, let's say I have the spear. I want it to be a primary active weapon, and I can then, this has the list of all the prefixes that are in the game. I can add the prefix here, to add it like this, primary active _control spear 01. And if it doesn't, and if it already has an prefix and I want to swap it, and I can easily swap it to a secondary active. Let's say I made it to an archer and then I swap it to a secondary active. I can also toggle the optional bar as I want. And I also have the clean number suffix. Let's say I pasted this guy. We have this guy here, 001, 0.01. It just cleans that up. But it does make the other one and to have this, so you will have to do it multiple times if you want to. Okay, now let's move on to the unit export. This one is really special, as with this, it has a check check model for export, which runs a couple of tests on the model to check if it is fit for Medieval-2 standards. The paths are the same as import except the unit output, because I usually have this one to be in the like unit blended import, and then this guy will have blended export, so I can easily distinguish between them. And it's the same as mod and read mod data. And what it does is when I select the armature, it'll select all the objects that are visible here. So I can just do check model for export, and then it'll run the series of checks. One thing that I'll give a short rundown of the number of checks that it does. See, I have the format as name underscore number, and then I have a name number. I have, let's say, this guy be just covers, and then covers. Like these are all formats that Medieval-2 won't recognize because this is in the wrong naming scheme. So what it does is it all renames it to fit the Medieval-2 standards. Like I check the model for NP, and yep, it renamed all of them. Remove the trailing bits, converted this covers underscore covers into cover underscore covers, and then also the name number into like the name number, and so on. You can see here, fix all of them. And now, and the neat part about the visible only is that you can easily make it so that you deselect these stuff and say this is like an unupgraded model. Like say this is a Vanguard PG0. I check model for export, and it'll only select the ones that are visible. Then I can turn these on and make it up PG1, which further simplifies the process. You can also, like even while this is parented, you can make it, you can transfer it into a new collection here, a new collection, and for an even easier way, you can do it like this, like for easier exporting. And then another check that it does is that it finds if there are multiple materials attachments there. Let's say the default I've kept it is attachments, and then another one should be main. And when I run the check, you can change the main and then the attachment to attachments. And then what it does is that it uses this one to check if the UVs are in the right space or not. You can, if I check it here, like here it says the main attachment is outside the UV first tile head, and the attachment is outside the tile to the right. So I can also turn this on, select objects with wrong UV. If I do it here, it moves me to the UV space and shows which models has the wrong UV space here. Now you can see here, it was not in the right space, this guy. I'll just move it inside a bit. Let's run the check again. So I moved it to the one to the right because those were the attachments. Let's do the check again. Yep, everything's fixed now. And now, after that, what it also does is that it checks if a model has duplicates. Like let's say I have a different material here, like it'll mention here more than 2 materials found. And also, let's say I have this guy here, I copy paste it. If I copy paste it, it'll have an attachment 002. Those are basically the same attachments, but the game will read it as having different and will lead to some like unintentional behavior. So I parented it with empty groups. Like you can see here that these 2 attachments are supposed to be the same. So if I run the checkup again, and it auto assigns that to the same one, so this guy has a normal attachment now instead of a duplicate one. And now you can also rename the materials from here. Like if I want it to be like Reaper main, and this to be Reaper attachments, it will rename it here. And then Now it finds the texture that is inside the material, and this will be the one that will be outputted. It will convert this automatically into texture files too. And if we say we don't have a normal map here, we can also generate blank normal map. It automatically detects the size of the more normal map. Let's say if it's 1K or 2K, and then creates a corresponding normal map. And the Vanguard, it automatically names like Vanguard norm and at norm. You can also change the output name as you want it. And then after that, you can also create a BMTB entry. We can copy the mesh name. We have the mesh name there, and you can check the ownership that we want to give it to the BMTB entry. You can also press all or none, and if you hover, you can see like which faction with what code name. And this is like the path that we want the BMTB entry to have. The sprites and footer, I've made it so you can copy off an existing unit. So this guy is a spearman. So let's look for a spearman unit. So let's go class Benedict. Yeah, that's spearman. Okay. Copy sprite and footer. Yeah, I copied the sprite and footer. So now, after everything is done, oh yeah, I think I forgot something. Let's check one more time. Can I remove trailing number as it shares the base name? And no melee, no primary active object found. So it also mentions about that. Like we have secondary active here, it's not a primary active. So let's just switch it over. Primary active, swap prefix. And which one is it? Yeah, covers. Because this one already exists, so it couldn't remove. Just make it 02. And this one as well. 4. Now it should everything should be okay. Yeah, like I only included this warning here because javelin units are technically melee skeletons, but they do need secondary active, so that's why I made it so it's a check if needed. You can just ignore it if it's a normal melee unit. Now, once you have everything set up, you just press export GLB. It'll export it, convert the textures, and then make a BMD file. You can check it here output, a GLB file, and the BMDB entry. You can just copy paste it. You can see here, everything is where we wanted it to be. It copied the sprite, and here everything is completely correct. All the ownership is done, and the footer as well. For now, it doesn't really edit the BMDB exactly, but that is something I plan to do in the future. For now, this much, it should be good enough. And then for the final, for the mesh export, we can select a task template file. This is a spearman, so any melee skeleton should do. Let's see if I have a spearman already. Extract to mesh, valid spear. Okay, I export to mesh, and it'll start exporting. It should take about 10-15 seconds. Yep, done. Now you can see here, that's the mesh file and the converted texture files. That should be it, I think. The settlements part is it's still a work in progress by WK, so I don't want to mention anything about this. So if you have any questions or if you want to give any feedback regarding this, you can just mention it to me on the comment section or the Discord. I'll put my Discord tag in the description too, so you can reach out to me there. And okay, hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye.